What if the last person you recognized on the street had already died the night before? What if I told you that in the middle of a completely ordinary morning, I looked to my right and saw a man who had already been dead for hours? No warning, no dramatic moment, no sign at all, just me walking home from class in the rain. And the worst part? I didn't even realize what I had seen until I walked through my front door. Stay with me, because this story I've never been able to fully explain. And by the end of this video, I want to know what you think happened. Alright, so let me take you back about 3 years ago. At that time, I was going to a physics tuition class, basically an after-school tutoring session. My house was pretty far from the tuition center, so the commute each way was about 30 minutes. Not a quick walk, long enough that I had a lot of time alone with my thoughts. Now, this particular day, I remember it so clearly. It had been drizzling since early morning. That soft, persistent kind of rain that doesn't really stop, but never becomes a full storm either. Just gray, heavy air, the kind of morning that makes everything feel slightly off. And here's the thing, even before I left the house that day, something felt weird. I can't explain it. There was no logical reason for it. I hadn't slept badly. Nothing bad had happened. But the atmosphere, it just felt strange, heavy, like something was sitting in the air. You know that feeling? When you wake up and the world just feels slightly wrong. Not scary, just unsettled. That feeling you get before something unexplainable happens. I brushed it off. I grabbed my bag, and I left home at around 6:30 in the morning. Class went normally. Physics, formulas, the usual. And by 9 a.m., I was outside again, still raining. So I opened my umbrella and started the walk home. Now, I've walked this route hundreds of times. I know every corner, every shop, every face I usually pass. But that morning, something was different. I kept looking around, half expecting to see someone I recognized. A neighbor, a classmate, anyone, but the streets were oddly empty. The few people I did see were strangers, and even the streets themselves felt unfamiliar. Like I was walking through a version of my own neighborhood that wasn't quite right. Have you ever been somewhere you know perfectly well, but for some reason it feels like you've never been there before? That's exactly what this felt like. I told myself it was just the rain, just the gray morning light, just my brain being dramatic. I kept walking. I was almost home. Almost. I had just entered my own locality, the streets I've walked since I was a kid. And that's when it happened. I looked to my right, and there he was, a man standing in front of a fish stall. His back was turned toward me. He wasn't moving much, just standing there, the way people do when they're deciding what to buy. And I recognized him immediately. It was an uncle, not a blood relative, but the kind of neighborhood uncle you've known your whole life. He lived just a few houses down from ours. I'd seen him dozens of times. Normal, friendly guy. Nothing unusual about him. So in that moment, I just thought, oh, he's buying fish. Makes sense. People do that in the morning. And here's the thing that stands out to me even now. In that moment, I felt relief. After walking through that whole strange, empty, unfamiliar feeling morning, finally seeing a face I recognized made me feel better. Like the weirdness of the day had lifted slightly. I remember thinking, there's someone I know. I didn't stop to talk to him. I didn't call out. He had his back to me, and I didn't want to disturb him. So I just kept walking. I continued down the road. I turned into our lane. I reached home. I went inside, took off my shoes, put down my bag, washed my hands, sat down. A completely normal into a slightly weird morning. And then my mother walked in. She had this look on her face. The kind of look people get when they have bad news they're not sure how to deliver. She said to me, casually, the way you'd mention neighborhood gossip, "Did you know? That uncle, he passed away last night." I didn't respond. I just froze, because my brain was doing the math in real time. Died last night. Last night. Which means he was gone before I even woke up that morning. And I had just seen him 5 minutes ago, standing at that fish stall. I sat there and I couldn't speak. I couldn't even form the words to tell my mother what I had just seen. Because what do you say? Mom, I just passed him on the street. But that's impossible. I literally just saw him. I didn't say anything. I just sat with it. And that silence, that's when it really hit me. If he died the night before, who did I see? Now, look, I want to be fair here. I want to be honest with you. Because I'm not someone who immediately jumps to I saw a ghost. The most logical explanation? It was someone else. Someone who, from behind, in the rain, in my slightly unsettled mental state. Looked like him. Similar build. Similar clothing. Same spot where I'd expect to see him. And that's absolutely possible. But here's what makes that explanation feel incomplete to me. Number 1, the moment I saw that figure, his name came to my mind immediately. Not, oh, that kind of looks like someone I know. No, my brain said, that's him. Instantly. Confidently. Number 2, I wasn't confused or uncertain in the moment. I felt recognized. I felt relieved. That's not what happens when you see a stranger who vaguely resembles someone. That's what happens when you see someone you know. Number 3, the timing. Out of every morning, every walk home, every rainy day, it happened to be that morning, 5 minutes before I learned he was gone. Now, psychologists will tell you this is called confirmation bias combined with a grief response. Your mind fills in details to match what it expects to see. You were in an unusual mental state. The rain distorted visibility. The brain is a storytelling machine. It completes patterns even when the pattern isn't there. And they're not wrong. That's all real. But there are also researchers, serious, credentialed researchers, who have documented what's called a crisis apparition. It's a phenomenon reported across cultures, across centuries, where a person sees or senses someone they know, at or near the moment of that person's death. It's not classified as a ghost sighting. It's something different. Something that sits right on the edge of what science can explain, and what it can't. And I'm not saying that's what happened to me. I'm just saying, I can't fully rule it out. Here's what I keep coming back to. I wasn't extremely close to this uncle. We were neighbors. We'd exchange greetings when we passed on the street. Completely normal, warm, but not a deeply personal relationship. But his wife, she was someone I talked to often. She'd stop me on the road every time we crossed paths. We'd have real conversations. She was kind, and maybe that's why this still sticks with me. Because even if I didn't have a deep bond with him directly, he was part of the fabric of my everyday life. And in a neighborhood, those people matter. The morning of his death, on a rainy, quiet street, I felt relief seeing him. And a few minutes later, I found out he was gone. I never told his wife what I saw. I don't know if I ever will. Some things you just carry, and some mornings, you never quite forget. So that's the story. My rainy morning. My unanswered question. Was it a coincidence? A trick of the mind? Or something that science hasn't fully caught up to yet? I genuinely don't know. A strange moment of recognition. A feeling that didn't make sense until later. A coincidence that felt a little too precise to be random. I read every single comment. Every one. So tell me your story. And if this video gave you chills, or made you think, subscribe and hit the bell. I share true, personal paranormal stories and unexplained experiences regularly. No fake drama. No actors. Just real stories, told honestly. New video drops every week. I'll see you in the next one. Stay safe out there. And maybe, pay attention to the faces you pass on rainy mornings.